Welcome, everyone. I'm Monica with Assessments 24/7. Welcome to our webinar. We're excited to have you here. Today, you are going to be hearing from our fearless leader, Brandon Parker. He'll come on, the CEO will come on a little later, and he has a very special announcement about something awesome. So stay tuned for that. And I'm very proud to announce Jen Larson. She is our VP of Instructional Design and Certification. She's presenting to all of us from her second office in Maui today. So very fancy. We love that. Her background is in higher education. She's a published author. She's an incredibly important part of the team who creates and implements our new assessments. She oversees our training department, and she's just an overall amazing person, mom, and assessment guru. So Jen Larson, take it away.
Thanks, Monica. I'm all blushy now on the inside. Well, thank you everyone for being here for our webinar today. I'm so excited to be able to share these things with you. There is so much going on in our world, and there are so many things that I'm happy that we get to be a part of. But sometimes we don't always know how to respond to what's going on around us, or the best things that we could do to help our clients and our customers, particularly when our businesses have shifted so much over the last couple of years. So the purpose behind today's webinar is to give you a new way, if you are not already using a way like this, to talk about assessments and how they can be useful for a variety of different circumstances, particularly when it comes to workplace challenges. So when we're looking at the information today, I know, because I know, that this is going to be like drinking from a fire hose. And I am going to dump all over you with a bunch of information that I hope you will find valuable and helpful. I also want to say again, this will be recorded and you will receive a copy of my slides. So if something goes fast, or if you feel like you didn't get to jot down the note that you were hoping to as quickly as I speak, please know you will have access to all of this information that we're presenting to you, so you don't have to write it all down or capture every word. In addition to that, you always have access to us as a team, and we're happy to help and answer any questions that we can. So our goal today is to talk about using assessments for solution-driven applications. Now, our focus is going to be on DISC and other assessments that work well with DISC. So you're going to hear me say things frequently about this is complementary, or this helps support DISC in this way, because DISC, as you know, is the foundation of many of our assessment structures. It is what's observable and what we can identify the easiest and helps us to be most beneficial in our communication. Plus, it's simple to remember and it's easy to apply. So everything else becomes an extension of that in some regard, even though you can use any of these assessments on their own. But DISC is a foundation for them that makes them super, super helpful and accessible. So our goal today is to talk through three parts of this solution-driven application process. The first is understanding the assessments and what they offer for each of your clients or customers. So we're going to do a quick overview of each of the assessments in our library so that you have an understanding of what that looks like and why you would use them. The second is to talk about practical solutions and applications for 9 known workplace challenges. So I imagine several of you receive client questions or customer requests on what do I do in this particular circumstance? What would be the right tool to use to help with this particular issue? We're going to give you 9 common issues that we know assessments can support and help with. The third thing we're going to talk about is differentiating your marketing and sales strategy by using this idea of solution-driven applications. And I'm going to give you some highlights for each of the assessments that you can use in your marketing and sales strategy to help people understand how what we do is a little different or can be applied in a way that's special. I'm also going to talk a little bit about how you can differentiate yourself with new knowledge and understanding. Then at the end of this, we'll have Brandon wrap up our meeting together. And as Monica said, he's going to share a special announcement with you. So I'm really excited to get started. So jumping right into how understanding assessments works and why we use them and what they can be used for, I want you to first get the highlights of what they're designed to be. So assessments are designed to give us optimization opportunities for the full professional spectrum. So customer service, vocational, technical, sales, management, executive, individual contributors. Assessments are for everybody in our complete professional environment. And there's something for everyone that can help them to grow and be their best version of themselves. The second thing they're designed to do is reveal our perceptions and perspectives that can either hinder us or enhance the ability to connect, communicate, and interact for mutual benefit and understanding. There is a lot in that statement to unpack. So just consider for a moment our own self-perceptions and the perspectives of others, and looking at if those match or if they're consistent with one another. Then look at hindering and enhancing our abilities. There's some things here that will show us where we have real effectiveness and other places where we have real opportunity. And finally, connect, communicate, and interact for mutual benefit and understanding. This is about helping us to get what we want by helping others to get what they want also. Big bullet point number 2, lots of good stuff that we're going to share in regard to that. And then number 3, support transformation in individual effectiveness, company culture, and profitability. So while this is something that's useful for individuals at every level, this is also something that's going to make a big difference in our businesses and the ways that we interact on a professional and personal level. Now, assessments do that by bringing scientific measurements to a whole bunch of different criteria. And I have listed for you here on the screen some of the things that are measured in our assessments. So personal characteristics, perceptions and perspectives of self and others, which we just talked about, behavioral style, our value structure, our thinking and processing, emotional recognition and management, and skill proficiency. And there are lots of other things that come together when we combine these things that we're measuring. Now, I want you to notice that there is no way in shape or form anywhere on this screen do we talk about personality tests. A lot of times people assume that assessments are personality tests. And so I want to debunk that for just a second, if you'll bear with me, and talk about why it is that we don't talk about it that way. So first and foremost, 2 words, personality and tests. So personality, you will hear all over the place when it comes to assessments like this. The reason we don't talk about it as personality tests is because personality is no one thing that's measured. Our personality is defined as a combination of characteristics and qualities that form an individual's distinctive character and reflect our patterns of behaving, feeling, and thinking. So this is a compilation of ideas. No one assessment measures our personality. It is a combination of factors. And many of the things that you'll see on your list right here in front of you are included in capturing that personality, not just one element. The second is the term tests. So the term test is misleading because we are not testing. We are evaluating, we are revealing, we are showing, we are providing feedback, we are receiving information, but there is no right or wrong. There's no one way to do this that helps us to get things done most effectively or that can ruin it all by itself. It's again, a combination of things. This information that comes through assessments is just information. It's feedback, and we can take that and do with it what we will to be as effective as possible without any judgment from the resources themselves. So I wanted to dump that in here just so that you have an understanding of why we at Assessments 24/7 don't talk about personality tests. We talk about assessments and all the things that are measured. Now, the criteria that you see on the screen is just some of the pieces that are measured. And when we combine them together with other elements, and you see these in our report outputs, you can get a very distinct viewpoint and a holistic viewpoint, a comprehensive viewpoint of what is going to help someone be successful or may encourage them when they are struggling. So the next thing that I want to do is dive into which assessments are the right assessments. So in a few minutes, we're going to talk about those workplace challenges that I mentioned early on, but I want to talk about the assessments so that you understand how they work and why they become a solution for the workplace challenges that we experience. The next 3 screens, I'm just going to show you a sampling of the assessments that we offer. DISC is the first one, and everybody knows about DISC for the most part. They've experienced it. Most of you on this call are very aware of how DISC works. What you'll see on this screen here are the 4 behavioral tendencies that are measured by DISC right here in the center: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. And down here, the reports that we offer that are based on those 4 behavioral styles. Now, the importance of DISC is that it shows our observable behavior and emotions, and it measures how we are operating in a variety of relationships, circumstances, and environments based on our natural behavioral tendencies, and then the way that we adapt those to be what we think will be effective in a variety of ways. I'm going to start first with the DISC self for a real quick overview. So our DISC self gives insight into those 4 styles, how they show up in our lives, in our workplace, in certain relationships, in certain circumstances, and gives us really important tools to be able to leverage our strengths and to effectively grow our challenges based on our behavior and emotion. The kids disc that you'll see down here in the second little section is all about helping kids understand how to do that. So it's a unique presentation for them based on those disc styles, but rather than being D, I, S, and C, we use the birds that are over here to help it become more memorable and more simple for people to apply at any age group. Now, in addition to the kids disc, we also offer adult support resources as part of that report. So for kids and their adults, whether parents, teachers, coaches, neighbors, there's a variety of information that's presented in that kids disc report to help people understand their littles better. The third thing we have here is our DISC 360, and DISC 360 is based on our DISC report, but it provides the opportunity for us to get observers involved in the mix. So we can see if our intentions of our behavior are matching the perceptions of what people are experiencing with us. It allows all kinds of observations, and I encourage you, if you haven't done a DISC 360, to definitely look into that, because it can be invaluable when we look at the feedback that we're getting about how we are perceived in the world. The fourth section that you'll see here is DISC relationships. And this is one of our newers as well, in addition to the kids DISC, where we can look at specifically in our relationships with other people, where do we find successes, challenges, communication differences, and not only from our relationship perspectives as a whole, but in individual comparisons with couples. Now, couples doesn't necessarily mean a romantic couple, but it does mean any other person that you would like to compare your style with. If we're thinking about it in terms of a business report, it would be like the collaboration report, where you're bringing 2 individuals together to see how they communicate and interact with one another. So those DISC relationship reports can be very cool, especially if you're building a new relationship or you're working through some conflict resolution in a relationship, just getting to know someone at a deeper level. Let's talk a little bit about motivators. So motivators is the next tool that I want to make sure you have some understanding of before we jump into our solutions. So motivators is the perfect companion to DISC, because it looks at what drives our behavior and those emotions and the values that we hold that either move us forward or keep us still. Now you can see the 7 dimensions that we measure here in the center of the screen. These are very important for us to understand about what moves us and what drives us and what helps to propel us to success. And how we satisfy these motivators is really important too. So through the self-report for motivators, you get a very good handle on what drives my behavior, what would satisfy me the most, and where might I have places of tension or conflict that come from the motivators combination that I have and the way that I express it through my behavior and emotions. You'll also notice down here that we have team reports and a summary report. And you'll see for some of our other assessments that we offer a team perspective or a summarized version of it. And you'll see that we also offer this in a combination. You can combine these reports together to get a more comprehensive view of what's going on with someone's style in a variety of different models. So keep in mind, there's lots of different ways that we can start to use this information, again, to meet the needs of our clients and customers. The next page that I want to talk through are our specialty assessments. And you'll notice there's a lot on this screen, a lot of different opportunities. So I'll start with Higher Sense. Higher Sense is our trifecta report that brings together DISC, motivators, and critical thinking to show us the risks and the benefits of having a particular person in a particular position doing a particular job. It's excellent for hiring and selection, and also dives into the initial pieces of onboarding to help somebody get really comfortable in the first few weeks or months in a new role. Oops, let's go back one. Next, we have emotional intelligence, and our emotional intelligence report measures 4 categories of self-regulation and understanding and management, as well as understanding how to work with the emotions of others. So this can also come in a combo report with DISC, and there's a lot to learn in here about how we can emotionally express ourselves in a way that not only works for us, but works for others, as well as how to respond to and understand the emotions of others. Taking one step further, we have the Emotional Intelligence 360, which gives us the opportunity to measure how well we are doing with our emotional intelligence by receiving feedback from others. And we'll see feedback in places like self-perspective, the perceptions of boss, supervisor, peer, direct report, others that you would like to receive feedback from. You get all this different information to help you know if the way that you're expecting that people are perceiving you is actually how you're being perceived. All right, the next one we have is the Core Competency Index. And the Core Competency Index looks at 25 personal skills that contribute to our success in a job. So when we're looking at our effectiveness, we want to know, what do we have that's well developed? Where do we have moderate development, or that we're working actively on developing something? And where's the place that we really need to have more development? And the Core Competency Index gives us that in a list. Now, it is more like a test than many of these others in that it gives you specific solutions for specific situations, and it does give you a score from effective to least effective based on your level of development. So that one is a little bit different from the others, where they're more no right and wrong answer, wherever you are is the shoes you're in, and we're going to work with that to find effectiveness. The Core Competency Index will actually score you based on your effectiveness in these particular competencies. So very, very good tool to have. Similarly to that, we also have the Sales IQ, which is down here. And our Sales IQ is a skills test as well. It will show you your skills test capabilities and abilities in 8 stages of selling. Now, many companies that I work with, and many coaches that I work with, and many individuals that I work with have their own structure for a selling process. We outline one in this report, and we match the different skills to that selling process. However, it is general enough that you can take it and apply it to your own process without having it necessarily fit into our 8 stages. There's a lot of information in there that can show you where you are applying your skills best and where there's opportunity for growth. The next one is our Leadership Effectiveness 360. And the Leadership Effectiveness 360 reveals our strengths and challenges in 8 areas of leadership. Again, it's a 360, so it gives us a variety of perspectives that you can choose to acknowledge and benefit from and take the feedback for, and then focus your energy on how to be the best leader that you can be based on the things that are most important to you and your leadership style. The last one we have here is the 5 disciplines. And the 5 disciplines gives us a real clear result in 5 areas of exponential growth: strategy, business development, people, execution, and mission. So those 5 disciplines can really guide our process for growing our businesses in a variety of different ways. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about before we kind of cover the next part of this assessment webinar is the idea of targeted applications. So on the next several slides, you're going to see several of these target applications mentioned. And target applications are specific to DISC, and they help us to apply DISC in a variety of circumstances. So sales, service, coaching, and leadership. And they come to play with those combination reports and team reports to help us know how to use DISC despite the style. So you can use it based on the circumstance, no matter who you're interacting with and what they need to accomplish with you. So watch for those to come into play too. I also mentioned earlier, we've got these combination reports peppered throughout. So many of our assessments piggyback on one another or combine with one another beautifully to bring you additional insight. And we also have team reports where you can bring together elements of these reports for different individuals and compare them for a whole team to help build team effectiveness. So you'll see that as we go through our next several slides as part of the challenges and the solutions offered for them. When you see those combo reports, those team reports, and those targeted applications, just know that that's an additional resource that's available beyond the regular report that we've just talked about. Okay, so jumping into our solutions and applications part of this, I'm really excited about sharing this with you. We have outlined 9 workplace challenges, and this information, just so you know, is not new that we're presenting to you. It's actually been on our website for quite some time, but it's kind of buried into its little corner under a heading of why assessments. When you go to that page, you'll find that we have presented for you these 9 workplace challenges and solutions for them. So again, not new information, but definitely something that we wanted to share with you because we think it can be very beneficial for helping you work with your clients and customers. So the first area is hiring and selection. And one of the biggest challenges is how do we improve and streamline our hiring and selection process? One of the things that we hear a lot is that when it comes to hiring and selection, there are lots of regulations or expectations or processes that are already in place in different organizations. We want to be able to add to those things to kind of mix up the game and help it be more effective, to find the right person, the best fit for the job, not only for the individual who is the candidate, but also for the company. And to do that, it would be nice if we could have some solutions to look under the hood and see who is it that we're meeting and interacting with. This list that you see in front of you are different elements that you can bring to that hiring and selection process that, again, is going to help us see a part of this person and what they have available to offer. So remember, as we're going through each of these, the key here is that this creates a solution. So whatever problem it is that we're looking at, we have assessments that will help you. Self-assessments, 360 assessments, those targeted applications, lots of different things to support. All right, so in finding the best fit for us and for them in hiring selection, these 5 assessments that you see here are designed to highlight all of the different parts of what can lead to optimal success or what can create incredible challenges, depending on our environment, our circumstances, our relationship, the situation, our company culture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one is increasing sales. So we all want to sell more and do better. I can't think of a single person who doesn't want to increase their effectiveness in sales. The 6 assessments that you see here provide different insights to our sales skill, our sales approach, and can be used to strengthen your capability in selling more. Each of these offers some perspective on your sales presence, as well as how you interact with others, what they might need from you, and different tips and tricks to help you know when you're working with your client, what they need, and how to provide the solution for that. So increasing sales is our number 2 workplace challenge. And these are the assessments that offer some real significant insight. Our 3rd workplace challenge is creating world-class leaders. So leaders are often the key to our effectiveness. How do we know how to strengthen them and grow them in a way that creates a world-class leader? These assessments that you see on the screen are going to give you a holistic view of your own beliefs on leadership style and others' perceptions of your leadership style. Using that information, we can grow our leadership and management in ways that bring consistency, effectiveness, highlight our ability to interact with each other, and help us to build our leadership benchmark. Now, when I say leadership, please don't only hear high-level leaders. It can be any leader. It can be a peer leader. It can be a supervisor. It can be all the way up through executive management. Anyone that's interested in growing their leadership capacity, these assessments are great tools to help create a world-class leader. Our next workplace challenge is increased productivity. Again, I've never heard anyone say, gosh, I really don't want to get anything done today and hope that everything still works out for me. Actually, we say that all the time, don't we? This score one is all about increasing our ability to get things done and to do the right things the right way and to be as effective as possible with it. So these 8 assessments that you'll see on your screen right now provide distinct viewpoints for ways that we can increase our productivity. They show our strengths and our challenges. They show where we might excel or where we might have pitfalls or time wasters or opportunities to building our success. Each of these is going to give you a unique perspective that will show the areas of your abilities and sometimes our inconsistencies that inhibit our productivity. The next workplace challenge we have is reducing employee turnover. So employees that are happy don't leave. And these assessments can show us how to help us get the most out of our people and support their satisfaction in the process. It can show places where we may need to provide more support or where we need to offer some additional incentive so that people remain engaged and that we can encourage their greatness in our workplace. These 5 assessments work really, really well together on a variety of levels to help make sure that we're getting the best out of our employees and also providing the best for them. Our next workplace challenge is creating connected teams. So the 8 assessments that you see here help us to identify different parts of our teams so that we know how to build them well. Now, this highlight list, a lot of what you'll see here is 360 and self-focused. We need to understand who we have to be able to build a connected team. This will help highlight those elements that are necessary to build quality and cohesiveness in our team interactions. The 360s here are going to help you see how that's working and where the areas of our teams need some additional support or where they are finding they have every resource that they need to be as effective as possible. Kind of along that same vein, as we move into model team building, we can then take that team that we've built and continue to grow it. So we want to have people that stick around, who are engaged and have an opportunity to present their best selves for us and get things done. We also want to grow them and keep them connected. This idea of model team building aligns people to our goals and our results and leverages their best skills. And these 5 assessments show us where we can focus to bring all of the best that we have together. Now, notice there's a little asterisk here at the bottom about higher sense. So even though higher sense is an assessment that's built for hiring and selection, it's also really good for evaluating team members to see where their strengths and skill set lies so that we can build teams that are cohesive, helpful, supportive, connected, and integrated so that they can be the best version of a team that they can be as possible. And again, as we talked about previously, notice not only are there 360 and self versions here, but we also have group reports listed that can help our teams understand who they are as a collective group and where we might need to provide more support and assistance for them as well. And managing up. This is one of my favorite workplace challenges because oftentimes we do a pretty good job of understanding how leadership works from the top down. But going from the bottom up is a little different experience. Managing up is all about helping our leaders to be more effective, and it's a necessary tool for people that are working under a leader to be able to grow the relationship from a different direction. So the assessments you see on your screen help us know how to manage our leaders and ask for the support that we need in a way that works and get what we need from our leadership in a way that works also. And our last one, customizing employee training. So this workplace challenge can be really difficult because a lot of times we don't have a lot of room in our schedules, especially when they're busy schedules, to offer the right kind of training for the right kind of issues or challenges, or to help our employees know how much we value them. What you'll see here on your 1 through 5 list of assessments are ways that we can identify what our employees need from us to help them succeed, so we can match their development to their needs. And by doing that, we're showing them that we're invested in their success and that we value them. Now, as I said, I know that this is very, very quick. You will have a copy of this that will be sent to you so that you can go back and learn more about each of these areas. If you don't know about the assessments that we've talked about so far, I encourage you to get in touch with us to find the one that is going to match your clients and customer needs as appropriately as possible, but this gives you a starting point. In addition to the assessments, we do have a number of other resources that we offer that I just want to give you a little teaser around right now. And if you don't know about some of these, please feel free to ask. We'd love to share them with you. So one of our additional resources is our community hub. And that's a place where all of our practitioners and clients and customers can meet to communicate with one another and talk about what's going on in their business and how do we use assessments and what kind of training opportunities do we have. And we at the Assessments 24/7 team also post in the community hub very frequently as well, new information, interesting things, blogs that we've read. So it's a great resource for continuing to grow and understand what's going on in the assessment world. The second is your dashboard, and through your dashboard, specifically the training and marketing materials. So on the homepage of your dashboard where you log in to manage all of your assessment links, there are training and marketing materials available for you there that you can use to help do the business that you need to do and learn about the things that you want to learn about. The third is our DISC communication coach. And our DISC communication coach is a free resource that I wanted to make sure you all know about because it is on the fly a way to identify someone's behavioral style based on how they're interacting with you right in this moment. And it gives you resources to know how to communicate more effectively with them based on the style that you're seeing. Now, you can access the DISC communication coach through our website as well. If you have not played with it, please go do so. It is so easy to use, and it's like having a little DISC coach in your pocket. So please check it out and identify how that might be a really good resource for you. The fourth additional resource that we have is benchmarking. This is specific to our Account Plus people and also within our Higher Sense group right now. But if you're interested in benchmarking, I wanted you to know that it's something that we have available. And it takes all of our information that's in our database and provides a solid benchmark for a variety of different jobs specific to a whole lot of different industries. We provide you benchmarking tools so that you can start with a known benchmark that is a general understanding of a particular role, or you have the ability to customize your own benchmarks and share with others what kinds of jobs you have available, what kinds of people might match those jobs. There's a lot of really good resources that can be used with benchmarking to set you up for success when you're looking specifically at having candidates who you are trying to bring into your department, your role, your company. The next one that we have is our internal team. So I've highlighted Angie and Kathy and myself here, and we are all available to help you and support you. We offer paid coaching and training opportunities. So if you need support with something and you want to dive in a little further than what you get in training resources, or if you have a specific question or concern or assessment that you need help with, you are welcome to hire us to help you out. We encourage you to contact us anytime you need additional support. Number 6 on my list is support services. So we have pretty close to around the clock support for you. Obviously, our team is all about making sure that you have everything you need, and we pride ourselves on providing world-class service. So our support services can help you in a variety of ways with customization, with reports, with different technology problems in some cases, and helping you get whatever you need for your clients. So at any point, please reach out to us if you need support and we'll get you on the right track. All right, taking a step kind of to the side and yet still forward, I want to give you some ways to differentiate your marketing and sales strategy based on what we've talked about so far. Now, again, everything that you're going to see here is directly from our website. But what I've done is I've pulled together a single statement for you for each of these assessments so that as someone comes to you with a question, you have a solution to offer. Now, you can find out a whole lot more about each of these things on our website, but this will give you really quickly a highlight of each of these things, how you can use them, how you can share them with those around you as a differentiation strategy for solutions. So our first is DISC. So DISC transforms personal and professional relationships through communication and understanding of the 4 primary behavioral tendencies and emotions. So when someone comes to you with a challenge in communication or interaction or conflict management, you know that DISC is going to be a good solution for that. The second we've got is motivators. Combined with DISC, Motivators explores awareness of what drives action or inaction and reveals our viewpoint, our mindset, our paradigm of thought based on what's most important to us. So when you're looking for the reasons why someone does what they do, or the way to ensure that people are satisfied, Motivators brings a distinct insight into how we are driven. EIQ. EIQ showcases our recognition and management of our own emotions and the emotions of others to provide a framework for interpersonal and intrapersonal success. So it lets us know where we are doing a really good job in identifying and managing our own emotions, and where we are doing a really good job in identifying and reacting to the emotions of others, or where we may have an opportunity to look at that through a little different lens, which is going to have an incredible impact on the people around us. DISC 360 utilizes anonymous feedback from colleagues, managers, and direct reports to reveal others' perceptions and examine how those perceptions match our individual intentions to take self-awareness to the next level. So if you've got somebody that wants to know, how do people think I'm doing? Am I being as effective as I could be? What are the ways that I'm expressing myself, and are they being perceived in the way that I hope? DISC 360 is that solution. EIQ 360, not dissimilar, compares observer data collected from colleagues, managers, and direct reports to transform our emotional relationships based on our understanding and management of self and others. Great, great resources. Continuing with the rest of our assessments, Leadership Effectiveness 360 provides a measure of our current strengths and insight into our improvements to unlock and enhance our natural leadership abilities and grow from them to become a more balanced and adaptable leader based on the feedback we get from others. So again, having feedback is a gift so that we know where we can apply things differently and where we're enhancing what we do beautifully already. Kids Disc. Kids Disc highlights each child's bird style to allow them to uncover and discover how special and unique they are, and offers insights to the adults around them, giving them the necessary tools to help their kids be the best they can be. And that's in a variety of different circumstances. Higher Sense. Higher Sense quickly uncovers each candidate's behavioral, motivational, and thinking style to help you identify the right person for the right job the first time. Our Core Competency Index leads each person through an honest assessment of their current competencies, providing a plan for developing skills below the bar and continuing toward mastery in the ways they're already strong. And again, guys, this is all right on our website. I've just brought it together for you in a one-sentence structure. The 5 disciplines. 5 disciplines evaluates the strength that's required in all of the disciplines to make our business sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and have an emotional connection. And we talked about those 5 ways earlier on. Sales IQ. Sales IQ shares an objective analysis designed as a personalized map of individual sales knowledge in a moment in time. One of the things that I love about Sales IQ is that once you've seen it and are working on your Sales IQ and building it, you can retake that assessment and see how you've grown and where you've come from as you're continuing to grow and move forward. The second way that I want to talk about differentiation is not necessarily in your sales. It can be applied to your sales, but one of the ways that you can differentiate yourself from others is by becoming certified and becoming more knowledgeable in how to use these things. Knowledge and application are one of the greatest ways to differentiate yourself. So just quick highlights on our certification process. This will not be new to many of you. Many of you have gone through your certification and know exactly what we're talking about. And for those that haven't, I want you to see what's available. So we offer robust certification programs that are specific for coaches, consultants, and trainers to take your business to the next level. Our certified practitioners offer unique expertise and perspective. So they have new levels of insight and understanding. They are able to receive higher contracts and greater salaries. They rate stronger when they're interacting with others, and they succeed in attracting more clients and referrals. Bottom line, when you get certified in this information, businesses grow because you can apply them differently with a new level of understanding. And thirdly, as a little bonus, each of our assessment certifications also qualify for continuing education credits with SHRM, HRCI, ATD, and ICF. So if you are working on getting any continuing education under your belt, our certification programs are a great way to add to that mix. Okay, I've said a lot in a very, very quick amount of time. At this point, though, I want to turn it over to Brandon so that he can follow up on what we've talked about so far and share his really big announcement.
All right. Well, thank you, Jen. I absolutely appreciate all the work and the organization on this webinar. And it's not just a reflection of Jen's work. There's so many people, wonderful people on our team that support everything that goes on at this company and supporting you guys. I had notes I was going to talk about certain things and expand, but Jen, you really covered the points about the additional resources, about our certifications, about the support that we offer. So I'm not going to repeat everything Jen said. I think what I'll do here is tell you guys, and this is the first time we've publicly announced this, but hit the next button there. Jen, next screen, please. We have a book, and this is a book that has been in the making for years as we've perfected our mindsets on our assessments. But over the last, I'd say, year and a half or so, we've got all this down on paper, and we've got our book. And for a limited time, we're launching it. I mean, I've got a hard copy in my hand for 99 cents. It looks like you can get this on the Kindle version. But I do want to thank Jen for the amount of work she put into this book. Myself, Jennifer, Dr. Tony, and others within our team have all contributed to this book, with Jen really having a great oversight on all the information. So I'm excited about it. It's a wonderful resource. I think for those of you that, obviously are in the assessment world here, this is a great book, in my opinion, of course. And what I've heard from other people, it's been really impactful. So I know, Jen, if you wanted to add anything to the book, but this is our first public launch of this, and we do encourage you to go buy it and go read it.
I do want to add one other thing. Thanks, Brandon. And that is that right now it's in the process of also being turned into an Audible. So if you're not a book reader, stay tuned, because in not too long from now, I would say within the next 3 weeks or so, you can anticipate that we'll have the Audible version as well.
Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, we're really excited about this. So I just gave a copy to my neighbor, actually, because he's been diving into this. Funny story about that. I know I'm going off script here, but that's kind of what I do sometimes. I was sitting outside. I looked up at my neighbor, and he's reading a book, and I see the cover, and it was The Platinum Rule by Dr. Tony Alessandra. So I walked over and said, "What do you think of this?" And what do you think about this guy Tony? And he didn't know my connection. Obviously, that Tony and I have worked together for over 20 years. So at the end of that, we had a good chuckle about my relationship with Tony, and he's reading The Platinum Rule. So I passed him this book, and he actually came over here yesterday and said, "This is just wonderful and fantastic." And he's trying to work on applying some techniques in his hospital that he works in here in town. So but anyway, it's been wonderful feedback. I encourage you guys to go grab a copy. And I think I've got one more slide, which is just closing up the webinar. And once again, thank you to Jen and everybody on the team. We always say this on every message I put out and every webinar we do, that we really do pride ourselves on our customer support and our service here. I've got people in all the different areas that are available, as Jen mentioned, for consultations, for conversations, for strategy, for support, for customization of products. I mean, it is a big goal for us here to do what we can for you. And one of the things I do say to everybody really is that I kind of look at this as that we're all really on the same team here. Your success is our success, and anything we can do for you, we will, and we'll do our best. I promise you that. So if you're successful, we all are successful. It's a win-win. So take advantage of any of the resources that we have. And once again, thank you to everybody for attending, and thank you for everybody that works with us. We greatly appreciate you. And until next time, we'll talk again soon. So thank you.